Hey guys, how's it going? Seb here with the 14th Cylon. How you doing?
Hiya.
And we're doing another Sith the Cylon. We were going to do one talking about the Titanfall maps, but we just never got round to it. The long and short of it is, there's three of them. They're amazing. Each has its own strengths and weaknesses, and I can't wait for more. Is there anything you'd like to add in the maps quickly?
I think they're well worth the money. They normally I think that sometimes the DLCs is really pointless, but it just adds a real new flavour to the game. I just thought they were really worth it.
Yeah, they are awesome. We can't wait for more to come. We're thinking of doing a video on Wolfenstein, but we haven't quite got far enough into that. We've kind of been distracted by Watch Dogs, which is what we're going to be talking about today. But a quick forward review of Wolfenstein, and that is Blazkowicz, Blast, Nazi, Nitwits. Good fun.
Well done.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is the main thing we're talking about today. We're not going to do a crazy in-depth go through everything like we did with Titanfall, and try and keep this a little bit shorter and sweeter.
A bit more brief.
Yeah. But the main things is the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very pretty.
Yeah.
We're going to start with some rather negative things about the game, and so just fair warning. Yeah. we will end on a high with some good stuff, because I am a digital convert. I'm not completely convinced, but I am definitely a digital convert.
Yeah.
So, would you like to start with something you're not particularly happy about?
Well, surprisingly, I'm going to jump straight in there with the hacking. I mean, it's really good concept. I think it's one of the most exciting things that everybody's been looking forward to in the game. But it is. It's really refreshing and to have this new aspect. But it's just too simple. It's just too ordinary and just it becomes not essential. It's just so easy to do. Just press a button, and you've hacked into a phone, or you've hacked into a system, and that's it. And when you're attacking people, they try to encourage you to use cameras so you can use the environment against them, the hacking. But you have all these awesome guns, and you can just go in guns blazing as well. And I think a lot of people are so used to that by sort of not having the hacking be so challenging, people just don't use it. I don't.
Definitely. Well, to expand on the simplicity, you just need to press the magic Ubisoft square on PlayStation X on Xbox, the magic Ubisoft button. Out comes your phone, and you hover over anyone, and you see that little bit of information and whether you can hack them. Now, when this first was being advertised many years ago, it feels like now. I got the impression from the first video, now this might be me taking it wrong, but I really thought that the hacking would be more in depth in the fact that you would have to go into someone's files almost and rifle through their personal information to get what you needed, rather than be like, oh, Seb likes chocolate, awesome. Oh, Sarah likes Dark Angels, amazing. Yeah, I thought there would be more to it than that.
Yeah, like you say, there is just no depth to it, and it's a great idea, and I look forward to what they do with it in the future, but it's not the next gen sort of progression that was advertised.
No, totally. And you touched on the using the environment and things, and there's obviously so many different things you can do, and in some of the good stuff we'll talk about how good that is. But again, you said about guns blazing, there's a big emphasis on guns.
Yeah.
Big emphasis on guns and driving, which I didn't think would be the case. Again, with the initial advertising, I kind of basically, because there was so much of a gap, I was so excited, and then it got pushed back, and then I decided basically to cut all lines of communication. I essentially put a blackout on myself, and I thought, I'm going to wait till it comes, and when it comes I'll be excited. So maybe it's partly my fault from that, but guns and driving is just so important, just unnecessarily so, in what should be, what it seemed to be more of a espionage sneaky game.
Yeah, it looked like it was trying to step away from the likes of GTA 5, whereas really it feels like it's trying to catch up to it. It doesn't feel like it's trying to go in a different direction. It feels like it's trying to be that, but a little bit different, and I think that it fails.
That's one of the big things for me. I thought this was going to be a whole new genre type game system, but this is essentially Driver 3 with some GTA and Saints Row thrown in, bit of Splinter Cell Conviction
Yeah.
in the sort of in the movement and stuff, and
the gun fighting and the sneaking
and the aiming and that stuff, and a little bit of Assassin's Creed with the magic Ubisoft button, like we said. Speaking of Toxic, he thinks that maybe they spent quite a lot of money on the driving and shooting, and therefore they wanted to get their money's worth because they sunk so much into it.
Yeah, they really, really want you to use it.
They really do.
But moving on, I think with the hacking, like another aspect is you know, like you can hack people and you can basically steal money from their bank accounts, and you can hack ATMs, steal money from ATMs, and then you use that money. You can buy cars, you can buy guns, you buy clothes, but the problem is there is absolutely no consequence for hacking into somebody's bank account or hacking an ATM. Like you could just you do it willy-nilly, like no one's going to come after you. Occasionally somebody will try and call somebody and be like, oh my god, I've just been hacked, and you have to like stop them from making the phone call. But that's
punch
like
them in the face.
But even if they do make the phone call, you don't lose the money. You just get a bounty put on your head for other online players to try and like hack you. So, but you still got the money. It leads to this broken economy where basically weapons, cars, guns, they're all free, because you just have access to an unlimited amount of money.
Well, not only that, they're there. There's unlimited, good cars of all varieties are just parked on the side of the road, and you can get them perfectly fine. And that's the same thing we see with GTA, and that's perfectly reasonable.
And also, you could pick up guns from enemies, and then you have access to that gun. You don't, like, the stuff isn't locked to you. Like, if you come across an enemy that's got a grenade launcher and you kill him, you can just take that grenade launcher, and then you just have it. You never lose it. Even if you run out of bullets, you don't drop it. You have it. And another thing is like you get this information from people that says, oh, cancer patient, or like homeless, or like recently lost their job. When you sort of try and hack them to try and make you feel a little bit guilty about like taking their money, but it's so easy to, like, I barely even read it because you can just press a button and you don't even have to be looking. And you're supposed to be this vigilante, this like good guy, but you can't actually pay back into the community in any way. Like if it'll alert you when somebody's being attacked and their purse is being stolen, and you can run after this guy and take him down and stop the robbery. But you can't go and take that purse back to that person. In fact, you just pocket the money. Like even, at least in GTA 5, they gave you this moral option. Like, do you want to keep it, or do you take it back and you just get a little bit of reward, but you get the you get the popularity. And then there's all these homeless people in Chicago, like busking for money and things like that. You can't interact with them at all. You can't give them money. You can't be a good guy. You're just the bad guy. You just steal their money. You steal their cars. You cause traffic accidents, and nobody knows who you are.
I think that leads quite smoothly into the fact that Aiden is not the most likeable character of all time. Now, everyone loves anti-hero. Anti-heroes can be awesome.
But you don't love him.
I don't love him. Do you love him?
There's nothing to like about him. Like any cutscene, any sort of interaction he has with other characters, you're just like, oh my god, you're such an ass. He's just rude to everybody. He tries to intimidate people for no reason. He's got this big chip on his shoulder.
It's a baked potato, I think.
He's got a baked potato on his shoulder, and you just couldn't care less.
He thinks he's Max Payne in a game that isn't Max Payne. Like, Max Payne has that graphic novel, film noir, crazy vibe to it, so you can be really rugged and just, I'm doing the thing. But this isn't like that. It's almost like the Nolan Batman films. It's like I get all my gripes in one go. I do love Batman, as you can see, but not a Nolan fan. But it's having this gritty, realistic, like real life world with a ridiculous character in it. Just jars. And there's a lot of things that jar in this game.
Yeah. Totally. It is. Yeah.
Well, I would say there's like the incongruity, if that's the word, between the subject matter of the game. We've got kidnap. There's, if you go in intrusions into homes, there's suicide, and I think it's even sexual assault and paedophilia and things like this. And like these are some serious, like, heavy things.
Yeah. Triggering stuff. Yeah.
And there's no trigger warnings or anything. Like I'm sure there's something on the package that says about what type of things are.
Yeah, with the certificate.
With the certificate,
like
but it's quite serious. And like this is adult themed stuff, but again with a simplicity that is aimed kids. It seems.
But it's got a bit of a Saints Row feel about it. You know, like you can go and do these like mobile games where like they're like almost like Space Invaders, or like you can do these like little trip things where you're you drive around killing people and collecting souls and things like that. So it's got this sort of really like arcadey game feel, but in a world that they're trying to populate with some really, really serious stuff. It just doesn't gel. They've not managed to get that cohesion between the two.
Definitely, and I think we'll talk about the AR and the digital trips in the good stuff, because there is good stuff coming.
Yeah, there is good stuff coming. But let's put a few more bad things.
A few more bad things, but like, again, with some of the things in the digital trips, like I know it becomes fantasy and it's demon. You're running over demon souls in a demon car, but running people over, car crashes. Again, these things are made quite light.
Yeah.
There's no consequence for people, and that's another weird thing. You're noticing someone in a massive traffic lights car smash. Car blew up and they were just sat in the car still. Yeah, I mean, like you have this little like rating systems where people think that you're good. Like if you save people, you like people think that you're good, and if you kill them, it goes down a little bit. But it's so easy. There's so many like crimes happening all the time that like you kill one person, it means nothing. Again, there's just so little consequence. That's it. Consequence is the thing.
Yeah, I think there's you can't jump in the game. I mean, come on. Like, this is Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and you can't jump. There's no jump button. You have to, like, wait for it to realise that you're near a ledge and press B so he vaults over it. And that just highlights some of the flaws in the game as well, because there's been situations where, I've fallen into a gap. I've got myself somewhere and it won't recognise that I'm near a ledge, or, like, I've fallen into a place that I probably shouldn't, and it doesn't think that I should be, so then I just can't get out. It's...
Help, I've fallen, I can't get up.
I know, it's just ridiculous. Why is there no jump line? I just don't understand.
It's one of those weird things about games, and I've talked about this for years and years now. Even if it's not essential, and even if it's a little of a hoppity thing, depending on what the game is,
yeah,
it's almost an essential thing to make the game feel more realistic.
Yeah.
You look for the jump button, and it doesn't feel real when you can't jump.
And yeah, give you a little bit of realism and control by not allowing you to jump. It definitely interrupts your realism in the game.
Well, the free running is quite cool.
Yeah, the free running is cool, but in Assassin's Creed you can still jump.
This is very true.
I want to move on to the online hacking, because that's a large aspect of the game. The game is completely online unless you turn the online aspect off. So, potentially anybody, any of the random pedestrians in your game could be a real person. They look totally different, and it's not until they start hacking you that you become aware. And I do really enjoy the online hacking, and I play it a lot because I do enjoy it. But it's really, really one-sided. There's the two main ones that I play, because the other one, the one versus one ones are the sort of online hacking, where you jump in somebody's game and you have to sort of keep you hack their phone and then not get detected, and they have this area on their map that says it, so they know that you're in that area, and they have to try and run around and find you, and every so often it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, so it becomes harder for you. And they sort of sell it to you by saying, like, try and hack someone's phone and then just blend in with the crowd. But, like, that's, like, no one's going to do that. You're just going to run and hide somewhere that you reckon that they're not going to find you. I mean, especially if you're near somewhere where you can get up or lower than them, because, these have got 2 or 3 floors of searching to do. And it's quite quick, you're hacking. So, like, if you're the hacker, you have the upper hand completely. And if you're the hackee, like, most of the time, if I am getting hacked, I do not find the person, because there are so many places to hide. And then the other one that I do is the online tracking, where you just have to stay close to somebody and have, like, visible sight of them, and you're hacking them. And if you're the hacker in this situation, you totally have you're the one that's like, you don't have the upper hand, because if you're being hacked, just get in a car and drive away. If they can't see you and they can't keep you in sight, then they can't complete it. Like, they just get away with nothing, and they'll lose points for it. So you just get in a boat, drive away. They're never going to find you.
Bon voyage.
It's so it's just I feel like they haven't thought it through. They haven't put enough restrictions in it, or they haven't made some aspects of it easier to make it a fair fight. Sorry, I had a real rant there, but like, yeah.
But I agree with you completely. I've got hacked off, if you will, because I just couldn't find people, and you find them straight away because they're trying to hack you from your face, which is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Or they're in the impossible spot, and so I'll be honest with you. I'll hold my hand up and say, oh, there it is. That I've been having it turned off because I've just been rinsing the game and kind of ignoring the online aspect because it annoyed me.
And if you turn it off, which I've just discovered because I turned it off earlier so that nobody could hack me while I was paused, it wipes all of your points that you online. So I was, like a good decent way in. I quickly turned it off because I was doing something and I didn't want to get hacked while I still had the game on. Went back into it and I was So you have to start again.
That's bananas. Was there no warning or anything for
that? No, well, it might have done. It did ask me if I was sure, and I just didn't read it because I just thought it was saying, well, you can't play online if you turn this off. I didn't read it. So it could give you a warning, but I barely read stuff.
That is crazy. Speaking of like buggy or losing things like that, there's this other weird thing where it's splitting the saves on the Xbox One for some reason. It's splitting the saves between cloud and the hard drive, even if you select hard drive, which can lead to you loading up a game and being behind, missing skill points, missing stuff that you've done, and that's just really frustrating.
Yeah.
There seems to be no rhyme or reason to that either.
Well, I think they're really trying to push cloud saving, but I think they've still got some kinks in it.
Yeah.
One last complaint, and then I think we'll move on to good stuff and try and wrap this up, is that the world looks amazing, and initially it feels really, really like intuitive and alive, but like the more you play, the more you interact with the world, the more you realise that it's not like I could compare it to GTA 5 because it's very close. If you stop just anywhere in GTA 5 and just stand and listen to what's going on around you, the world just feels like it's buzzing. There's people having conversations, making phone calls, and just like even people in cars and stuff like interacting with the world. It's not the same in Watch Dogs. You think it's kind of like it is alive, and if you get a gun out, people go running and screaming, and some people are called cops and stuff. But if something like that isn't happening, they're just sort of just mindless drones just moving. And it's like we said earlier about somebody just stopped like in a car, burning car, just sat there, not even doing anything. And it's a bit hollow, unfortunately.
It does a really good impression. If you look at it quickly, that tableau of the world is perfect.
Yeah.
And it almost seemed, to me at first, to be more alive than GTA. But that's as soon as you stop.
Yeah.
And also you start to notice the copy pasting of conversations and things. It seemed that there was going to be a lot of unique hacked phone conversations and text, but it didn't
take long for stuff to get recycled. Yeah. It's playing pretend at a next gen game. I think to feel like GTA 5 is a more refined and a much better game, which came out November last year. I think it was November, wasn't it? Just before the Xbox One came out. To feel like this game is less than that. Considering they delayed it, is extremely poor in my eyes, and it's just just playing pretend of being a next gen game. But let's move on to some positives.
I was going to say one last before we move to positive. It's a bit like an analogy of the iPhone. Like the iPhone keeps coming out again and again, and it gets better. So I always think, what the head of Apple, what kind of iPhone does that person have compared to the iPhone that's out? And it almost feels like they keep eking it out, so you buy the next one next year, and the next one next year. I know they postponed this to try and make it better, but at the same time, I feel like they're holding back so Watch Dogs, so they don't have to work so hard on Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah,
in a way.
I completely agree.
But there is some good stuff to say. There's quite a lot of good stuff to say, and we're going to say some positive things now. So, some for smiles, turning those frowns upside down.
The good stuff. The audio is really, really good. It's got a really nice soundtrack, really nice, diverse mix of music. Sometimes songs come on, you're like, yes, I really enjoy that. And
Alkaline Trio, how could you not be happy with that?
Rise Against, yeah. just nothing to complain about there. And also the cars sound amazing. And I think it goes back to what you said earlier, but they've definitely invested a lot of money in the cars, because the driving I find really, really fun. Like sometimes you get in a car and you're like, oh my god, I can't drive this thing. It's like there's so much oversteer, and just the brakes are poor, and the turning circles are poor. But it's so realistic. Like you get in some cars and like I got in a sports car, and it is a sports car. It does exactly what it's supposed to, like it would in real life. And it handles fantastically, and it veers fantastically. It's just like everything's really, really good about it. But then you can get like your classic station wagon, and it's supposed to go from A to B.
Oh yeah, I tried to do a criminal escort in a limousine. It was a bad shout. Bad shout. But that's the thing. There is such this variety of cars, and it's not like some go faster, some go slower, and some have a little bit different handling. There is a whole proper array, and that is something that is detailed and is amazing.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't on the 360 as well, it'd make you think it was next gen.
Yeah. And they sound amazing. I mean, you can get in a car and you can tell the difference between a petrol, diesel, and an electric car. I mean, you get in a truck and you can, they really utilise the vibrations in the Xbox One handsets and the triggers, because you feel every gear change. I was trying to go up a hill from like standstill in a truck, and I can just feel it going through all of those gears just to try and like climb up that hill.
The little next gen star from there.
Yeah, little next gen star, and yeah, just they sound like sometimes like you do in real life, and you get in a car and it starts up, and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing. You get in some of those muscle cars, and just yes, please.
The driving's really fun. I was not convinced. When you do the first intro mission, you jump straight in the car, and it's like go. And you're like, whoa, this feels heavy and horrible, and why am I not playing GTA? But then after a while, I think I prefer the driving in this game to GTA, and I'm going to put that out there.
Well, this is where the hacking comes in. This is where the hacking really, really shines, because it's so much fun to get tailed by the police or bad guys, because I'm just going to drive down this alleyway and hack those blockades and bam, shoot them up when you're coming past, and it does this brilliant takedown. And same with steam pipes, burst a steam pipe and it'll just decimate a car. It's just so much fun. That's the great aspect of the game, is the driving with the hacking. It's just so much fun. You can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's the hacking and the environment and the gameplay really come together when you're driving, but not as much when you're not, which is weird.
Yeah.
Which is why it makes me think of Driver, or the later Driver games, because it has that such emphasis. So speaking of Driver, another thing that makes me think of Driver is the digital trips. We talked about the driving the demon car and running people over. I haven't played too many of the digital trips or AO yet, but I've had a look at you doing some shooting, Space Invader type stuff and all that stuff going on, and these are amazing.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
Really nice little additions. Just there's a few of them, and they're sweet, and yeah.
A tiny little caveat that's not good. It kind of feels like these are some of the things that they've been working on in this time when they were scared about
in the
GTA.
delay, yeah.
It's so all the stuff they've added to the main game is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just the main game and the campaign. We didn't even talk about the campaign, but the campaign is kind of interesting, kind of not, and it's put off because of Aiden.
Yeah, there's nothing to say about the campaign. I mean, we haven't even finished it, but I've got no inclination to do it. It doesn't really draw you in. But overall, I'm happy. We've said a lot of bad things, but overall, I'm happy I have the game, because I do really, really enjoy playing it. I just resent the fact that it's not what it said on the tin. Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth the money that we paid for it, but we've got it now, so I'm just going to enjoy it.
Definitely. We probably wouldn't have got the season pass so quickly.
No, yeah, I think we would have probably if we'd known what we were getting into, we would have waited for it to get cheaper, or tried some deal with it, because it isn't quite living up to what you expect.
Yeah,
but
it's fun.
Yeah.
You cannot get away from the fact that the shooting and the driving, and there are elements of this game that are truly fun and addictive. This is the first game in a while, probably since Titanfall, that I keep finding myself going, oh, I've got 5 minutes. Should I be resting or should I? Oh no, I'm going to play Watch Dogs because I want to play it. But that's not so much the campaign.
That's
more
just the general world.
doing the sub games and all the other bits and bobs.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're not James Bond. You're not what's his name, Sam. You're not the Splinter Cell guy. You're not even Ezio to a certain extent. You are more Tommy Vercetti. Or CJ from San Andreas. Like you're
CJ.
you're that
Don't
character.
tarnish Tommy Vercetti.
Okay, yeah, it's like a CJ situation. But yeah, it's fun. Go and get it if you want that. But if you're expecting to be 007, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it gets a seal of approval from me, but just you have to have realistic expectations.
Definitely. And so I'm Darth Sebius, darthsebius.com for all geekiness and goodness.
And 14th Cylon.
14cylon.tumblr.com.
Yep.
More geekiness and all sorts of good stuff. We're doing this for Allies Index, which is alliesindex.com, place for all things geeky, gaming, video games, tabletop, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear from you what you think.
Yep.
And if you want to share anything with us, get involved with us on Tumblr. Again, that's alliesindex.com. And we will catch you guys soon. Tally bye.
Bye.